If you were around in the early days of the home computer craze in the 80s, you may remember that computer magazines at the time had type-in games. Yes, you would actually type the game into your computer via the keyboard. Crazy stuff. You remember that? Oh, you don't? Well, don't worry too much about it, it's just probably your mind that has chosen to repress these memories to save your sanity. Because honestly, these type-in games were a bit of a pain in the arse. You spend a long time basking in the flickering light of your TV screen, carefully typing away at the listing, trying to make sure you got everything right. Here's usually where you would come face to face with some exotic error message. And then you would have to spend another small eternity trying to hunt down the bits you typed in incorrectly. Or even worse, if there was a misprint in the magazine, you would never get the damn thing working. And should you finally, against all odds, get it to run properly, you would often realize that the game wasn't maybe as great as you had initially hoped. But of course, disregarding all these problems, these type-in games are of course a bit nostalgic and also part of gaming history, so I thought I would make a new series about these type-in games. And initially I'm going to be focusing on games for the ZX Spectrum, Commodore 64 and VIC-20, but that being said, I might eventually have a look into some other systems if you guys like the series. And each episode is probably going to be fairly short because most of the time these games aren't that amazing, to be honest, so it's going to be fairly short videos and be fairly quick to produce as well, so that's a good thing. But anyway, let's get started with the first game. And we're going to start this series off with a game for the ZX Spectrum from the Swedish magazine Allt from Hemdatorer, number 3 from 1983. And at this point in time I didn't even have a Spectrum, I didn't even have a computer, but I had still managed to convince my grandmother to buy me these magazines that I would sit there and read over and over again and just look at all the pictures and all the games and being completely amazed. And I think this game is actually one of the very first I typed in it, and interestingly enough I actually found this on one of my old cassettes and it actually loaded. Pretty amazing, so I did not have to type this one in. It's made by a dude called Ulf Bengtsson, and this game is made in Spectrum Basic, and the thing is, Spectrum Basic was really easy to learn. Hell, even I managed to make a couple of games, well, quite a few games. They were all absolute rubbish, but I managed to make them, finish them and make them, well, playable is maybe not the right word, but yeah, they kind of worked. The thing was though that the Spectrum Basic was easy to learn, but it was incredibly slow, especially at getting things to move about on the screen. The Spectrum did not have any hardware sprites, nor were there any software sprites in Basic. You actually had, I think, 21 user-defined characters that were just part of the character set that you could change. They were basically 8 by 8 pixel graphics, and you could usually move maybe 2 or 3 of these about on the screen at a reasonable frame rate, and then the frame rate would just drop through the floor and the game would become pretty much unplayable. So it was really hard making a good Spectrum game in Basic. But this guy actually pulled it off. It's really simple, but it actually, as I remember it anyway, was kind of fun. I played it a great deal. I might not like it now, but we'll find out soon enough. So let's start it up, shall we? So here we are. The game is ready to be run. And I failed to mention, I think the game is called POI. Pretty good name. Nice and simple. And yeah, this is how it looks. The game typed into the Spectrum. And yes, as I said, I did manage to actually load this from an old tape, which is, as I said, also quite remarkable. But let's just start it up, shall we? No, not that. Let's do run. See if I can remember the key press, because it's not entirely easy. And behold the amazing sound capabilities of the ZX Spectrum. Yes, it's not great, unless of course you had a Spectrum 128K which had way better sound effect. Sadly, I didn't, I had the standard version. Anyway, here's the instructions. It's really simple stuff. You just need to pick up stuff that gives you points, and the controls are super simple, I think. Yeah, control is 5 to 8. Let's see if I can do this. Oh, I'm pretty sure I'm going to screw up. There's the main character, filled with character. Amazing graphics, as expected. And the thing with this game is, I remember, you move this little character. Once you start moving, you can't stop. So you need to kinda not run into these black blobs, or the edge of the screen, which also spells the end of this game. Yeah, one life only, game over. And more amazing Spectrum sound effects, which we can't skip, but let's try this again. It's actually a bit harder than you would imagine this, because the controls aren't super responsive. Please change direction now, come on. God damn it, it's pretty hard. I'm just gonna blame that the controls are not responsive. So this is the game. You're supposed to go around here and pick these things up and earn points, and that's it. There's no enemies, there's nothing. And I like this quite a great deal. But of course, at the time, I didn't have many games to play. So that, of course, made it a bit more interesting. And man, I don't know why I can't get this working. I think my high score is 589. That's amazing. Alright, let's give this one more shot. I've completely lost it. I don't remember if I was any good at this game ever, but probably better than I am now, that's for sure. Yeah, there's definitely a bit of a delay here. Once you press the button, you need to kind of press it before. Yeah, but I'm doing slightly better now. I'm going to break my high score. Let's get the amazing question marks, because they are... What the hell? No, come on, get down. There we go. What? Oh! The question marks can actually kill you. I didn't even realize. Alright, that's a bit cheap. Alright, at least I got a high score. Let's try it one more time. Damn, I'm getting into this thing here. At least I did not hit the wall there, that's good. And damn, you're kind of running out of space there pretty quickly. And I can't say no to these amazing question marks, because they always flip and kill me. God damn it. Yeah, anyway, a very short look at this game. It's definitely not as fun as I remember it, but it's kind of cute, and it's kind of, you know, part of gaming history and all that, and some nostalgia and all that stuff. Yeah, it was kind of fun to actually get to play it again. Not quite as I remembered. I do remember it looking better than this as well, having bigger graphics, but yeah, memory does get a bit hazy as the years pass by. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this rather short video, and if you like it, by all means leave a comment, and if enough people find this interesting, I'm going to be making a new episode of this series every now and then. So with that, thanks for watching and all that stuff. Hope you enjoyed it, and see you in the next video. Cheers.